Hi there, this is my log, and this is a Yale P300. We can see the keyway there. Big chunk of steel, very hefty. It is guttable. Now, when I purchased this, I picked it a couple of times, got a couple of successful opens, and then something strange happened. The core would turn and sort of jam up at about the 30-degree mark, 20-degree. I'd put it back to where it should be, put the key in, and it would open. So I decided I would gut it, and when I gutted it, I discovered that the previous owner had pinned it up wrong. Now the stacks are fairly balanced in here, but the way he put the drivers back in meant that some of them, even with the combined key pin and driver pin, the spring would sit below the shear line, even with both pins in it. So the main culprit was position 4. So we had the spring dropping into the chamber, and I'm lucky that the lock wasn't gutted. It wasn't bricked. Now this spring was up the way, and that was caught in the Bible. There's a metal plate that sits over the top of the Bible that can be removed for repinning. So this was pointing up the way. So I'm thinking he'd maybe had a speed gut where all the pins dropped out and he wasn't sure which way they went back in. And he's had a couple of these springs caught when the plug was rotating, because there's a few like that. So these springs are knackered. Thankfully, I had 6, maybe not identical springs, but very, very similar. I'll pop that aside for the moment. Bit of a pity. Like I say, several of the springs were damaged already when I got the lock. So yeah, I'm just lucky it never got bricked when I first picked it. Let's to focus the camera. I'll try and get this picked. It's not the easiest lock to pick, and so 6, 5, 3, 2. We're in a false set. Go to the back. 4. A bit of counter rotation, but we've lost that false set. Come back and hit pin 2. We get the false set back. And try and sit up on this ledge. See if pin 2 needs 3. Looking for counter. Not really feeling much counter. Pin 1. No. So let's get up there. Pin 2. I'm feeling a bit counter. There we go. We get the open. So let's see if I can get this lock gutted. I'll lock it back up. I've got the keys. So the keys it came with were not actually the right profile. If the camera will stop wandering. So that's the bitting there. So we've got that deep in one. This is like a universal YA1 style, which just so happens to fit in there, even though it's a completely different profile. So this is the actual profile. There we go. Let's now there is an activator in here, an actuator, and when it comes out, the ball bearings will drop loose. So I don't really want that to happen. Let's. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah, it's a bit of a faff getting the ball bearings in and then the actuator in. So let's. Get that C-clip off. So yeah, that's the sort of retaining plate, and some of the springs were put in so that the damaged part of the spring was upwards. So I believe he's mispinned it. He's put the driver pins in so the springs were entering into the plug chamber, and he's damaged a couple of springs before he listed the lock on eBay. And then, of course, when I came along, I picked it a couple of times. I managed to pick all the pins a couple of times, and then, of course, it was only a matter of time. I damaged one of the springs, but I realised something wasn't right, so I stopped picking the lock and gutted it, and yeah, I made things right again. So, shim. Let's right. It's a strange tail on this cylinder. You've just got two little lugs that stick out. There we go. And there we are. So nothing special in there. Pin 1 we can see is not quite a zero lift. It does need a little touch, but I'll leave the key pins in there. I'll angle this down. So I'm going to leave the key pins in there so we can see the pin effectiveness and whatnot. Tweezers. So pin 1 is a short standard. What we got? 2, 3, 4, 8. And pin 2, we have a mushroom. And 3 is another short standard. So yeah, these pins are very short, really, for the most part. Right, hold on. I'll get these springs out. So, spring 2, spring 1. So spring 1 looks like it's been compressed because it's got a long keep-in, and I think it's the overall the longest or the most full chamber. So 4, we get another mushroom spool. And 5. And another really short mushroom spool. And 6. We have another short standard. And there we go. So I'll move the camera a bit closer. And we'll have a look. So pin 1, I'll not really bother about because it's practically a zero lift, so you can see that just needs the slightest touch to set. So we're going to take a look at these spools first. So a Yale mushroom spool, that's the medium one. This is the short one. And the long one. They are lovely, these mushroom spools. Right, so there we go. With we can see that they are all proud. I mean, even that one there is slightly proud of the, I mean, only just, and that's the long spool. So to pick this lock, all these pins need picking. They were shuffled up wrong, so the some of them were sitting high, and then there were other. I think it was. Oh, if I can get grip. It's been 4. I think one of the problems was that the medium length spool was in that chamber where the long one should be. So of course, if you pick all the other pins before you pick that one, and then you'll go into a false set and it will shear that spring and cause the damage that we saw there. And yeah, that's what happens. So that had happened a couple of times, because there are 1, 2, 3 springs like that. So now that I've pinned it back up, that shouldn't happen again. So yeah, that's if you buy a decent lock that's guttable, on eBay or from another seller, it's maybe a good idea to gut it, to use the key to open it, gut it, check everything in the chambers are balanced so that the springs aren't sitting down into the plug, and yeah, just probably a best idea. I think I'll be doing that from now on with all the locks I get that are guttable. I will be dismantling them and gutting them before I start picking them, because I could have ruined that lock. That spring could have jammed up. It could have gone right round in the between the plug and the Bible, and it could have jammed up and been bricked. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. Cheers.